Welcome to Tekidia Institute. I'm Dubisi Ikekwe. Our conversation today will focus on the geography of business growth, looking specifically in Nigeria and Africa. So last week, we had a very great conversation with one of our startups in Tekidia Capital. And this startup made a presentation that we would like to expand into other African countries out of Nigeria. So the T6 here is this construct that if you feel you are doing great, the next thing to do is to open an office in Ghana, open an office in Kenya, and start expanding into other sub-Saharan African countries. But there was something that we also brought into that conversation. The key thing there is this company in Lagos. Have you really expanded into Nigeria? Because of course, Lagos itself is about the fifth largest economy in Africa. If we assume that Lagos could be a country just for a few hours. So you have done fairly decently when you look at some certain benchmarks and indicators in Lagos. But you don't really have presence, at least in Port Harcourt, Abuja, Kano, Onitsha, Ibadan. Can also add Aba and maybe Meduguri. Now you think you can now expand to Accra, expand to Nairobi, expand to Abidjan. You made a point. It may not really be a great idea. Because you have to compound, at least within the same national geography, which is Nigeria, the things you have built upon that business within Lagos. So what you have built in Lagos could help you, in Kano can help you, in Port Harcourt can help you, in other major cities in Nigeria. If you've not been able to do that, and you now want to go to another city to start building from scratch, another country, that may not be a good playbook. So we need to question the whole hypothesis that you just start up in Lagos, start up in Nigeria, the next thing you want to do, you want to start expanding into other African countries. When, to a large extent, you've not even scratched Nigeria. It's all about the marginal cost. And that marginal cost will compound instead of going towards near zero as you begin to scatter across most African cities. So think critically what it really means to expand and grow. You could be operating in 4 countries, but it could turn out that one country is giving you more than 90% of your revenue. Is that really a good idea? That you will be expanding, scratching, doing everything to keep 3 other countries. So let's not be so fixated with the whole idea that I'm now in 4 or 5 countries in Africa. You are just stretching the little resources you have because you've not even won your core country. You're not in my village. You're not in Roma. You're not in Aba. You're not in Port Harcourt. You're not in Kano. You're not in Kaduna. And you're already thinking that, hey, I have to be in Accra and Nairobi. So that's what I just want to share here because, we need to conserve resources. We need to bring a better level of efficiency on the utilization of factors of production. And one way of doing that is being disciplined on the whole nexus of business expansion. I'm not saying that we don't have to expand, but I'm saying that you have to expand when it's really necessary. And not just expanding because you think the first thing you do, you start a business in Yaba, then within 6 months, you're thinking of going to Abidjan, you're thinking of going to Nairobi, going to Accra, when you've not even visited Port Harcourt, if you've not visited the GDP of some states in Nigeria. Some of those big states can actually do better than most of those countries. I think Etiosa local government GDP in Lagos may even be more than most of these West African countries. And then we look at the GDP of Lagos, which is larger than any country in West Africa. So how can you think you can move out of Nigeria and start wasting the little resources you have, looking for opportunities outside when right in Nigeria, you've not even done it. There is this book I read many, many years ago, Acres of Diamond. And looking at traveling around the world looking for diamond, perhaps the very house you live, underneath that house, there are deposits, minerals, everything that you have actually figured out if you have just looked well. So we need to pay attention to make sure that the scaling out of Nigeria is done out of a position of strength and business necessity instead of the whole nexus that we are in 3, 4, 5 countries. That may not be. So that's the perspective I have, and I'm hoping that you will scale a business and not just grow a business. Tekidia Mini MBA Brief. Thank you.